What's up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're going to be talking about Rinora, Rinora, yeah, probably that's what it's called, Bruce, and also Neovision Rain. I'll be talking about all three. If you're looking for Dark Vision, not Dark Vision, Dark Veritas, Neovision version, and enhancements for Hope and Lightning, I'll probably be talking about those in another video, so I know someone's going to ask in the comments about those units. I'll be talking about them in a separate video from this one. So if you want to check that out, just subscribe for that content. Anyways, let's get into the review. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's talk about Bruce first. So the STMR is pretty decent. 15% evasion on that hat, by the way. I wrote that before maintenance, so it's a decent hat. It's a decent hat. Not the best, but not the worst. So he has 130% in perils, but it's only on a cooldown, and you gotta wait 2 turns, and it only lasts for 1 turn. So you can burst on that 1 turn, and you have 130% dark and light in perils. That's interesting, I guess. He can dark and light chain while provoking in its AMOE frames, so you can also chain with Cipher that I've already written down down there below. He can definitely chain with Cipher. They can be dodge bros, if you want to call it that. That's an appropriate term. 200% TDH, so you need 200% more to get maxed. You also need 100% provoke, other than his STMR, because he actually has 0%, not provoke, evasion. He has no passive evasion in his kit. He just has some Mirage in his Limit Burst, and also just hits in his Mirage in his, chaining abilities, so there's that. He also has no imbues. I guess I should have wrote that. So you have to rely solely on those provoke chaining moves. So there's that. Honestly, this kit's not really that impressive. I know it seems slightly interesting, but he only has 70% breaks and they're only single target. And it's not full break, it's attack and magic and defense and spirit, so it's not even like it's a full break. At least it's 2 separate abilities, so it's like not really meant to, he's not really gonna, he's trying to they're trying to build him up to be kind of like very, instead of he's trying to be like Vaughn, but instead of like a finisher, he's a chainer, but it's just not gonna work. This kid is just not gonna work at all, I don't think. No, it's just too much flaws in his kid. He's too slow. But for Arena, he'd be really good because he has a lot of death abilities and things like that, especially on his Limit Burst. So I don't know. He just doesn't seem very good. I know people probably will still use him because he is a story character, but I feel like they just kind of dropped the bomb because he's only a 5-star character. But we'll be going into that branch of discussion soon, but I feel like they're just not going to focus on 5-stars anymore. They're focusing only on Neovision units, so... And we'll be showing you guys why that is the case in the next unit. Oh, by the way... for raiding Bruce, I don't know. Dark Vision, I don't know if you would bring him along. Unless you need a Dark and Light Chainer. Other than that, I just don't know if you would bring him along. So I'd probably like a C for Dark Visions, and for normal meta, I don't know where you would even fit him. You can't, he has 0% evasion, but you also need 400% TDH, so you'd have to sacrifice one of those things to bring him along. Seems hard. Seems hard. I don't know where you would bring him. I'd give just a B for dark, or for normal trial meta. I don't know. His modifiers aren't even that high either. So he's just a meme unit, really. A meme unit with Cipher. They can have some fun times together, chaining together and stuff like that. But that's about it. Let's move on to the next units. Rinora, the Conductor. So this is not really a spoiler if you've already started Season 3, because you'll see both of these characters at the beginning of Season 3. If you're not at Season 3 yet, I apologize, but I can't really do much about that. I gotta review these units. With that being said, he has 3 limit burst cost per turn with his STMR, 1,700 HP, 50 defense and spirit, 10% physical and magical mitigation against machines, which is a new buff on the JP side recently. They're starting to do those kind of things. Not very high, but I'm sure in the future they'll be a lot higher. But for now, it's about 10 to 15% with most buffs, as you can see down there below. So he does have 100% AoE blind, which in past trials, sometimes blind is useful, like Ashura and also the Iron Giant, the Sworn version. So there's that, and there's also some other, applications like against Shinryu and stuff like that. So I mean, it's something. It's definitely a thing that could be used in the future. So he does have machine type mitigations, 10% for physical and 10% for magical. Unfortunately, I don't think I saw any machine killers. I think he'd be a lot better if he just had machine killers. It's not though. He does have 70% physical mitigation on a cooldown. So if you want to use him with Daisy, you can have 100% uptime. Sorry for the sniffling. You can have 100% uptime on 70% mitigation because they both have it. So they can rotate between, having the mitigations up and all that good stuff. 250% defense and spirit buff on Little Burst. So very similar to Eastside Nicole, where his buffs are the best for defense and spirit. Yes, at least he has 20 to 30% full stat buff on a cooldown. Unfortunately, his regular stat abilities are only 180% full stat buff on a non cooldown. Just regular ability. Does have, he also has those 15% mitigation against machines, physical and magical. So that's pretty decent. And also he has 2-hit AoE Mirage on support. So finally, for those of you who have been wanting to use someone that's not Kimari, finally there's someone else that finally has 2-hit Mirage. Now I know Red 13 has 10-hit Mirage, but I mean you're not gonna you can't really bring him to everything, and you're probably not gonna be using that ability. So otherwise, his kit is just really, really bare bones and just doesn't seem that interesting. Which puts me into the point of, I don't know if they're going to be carrying about 5 stars anymore. They're easier to get, 10%, or 9 or 10%, whatever you want to call it. So their kits are not going to be that good because they're not Neovision units. And they want you to pull for Neovision units, not just 5 stars. So his kit just seems very lazy, and they just put him together very quickly because most of their focus was on the next unit. And for the rating for this, Dark Visions, I don't know if you'd ever bring him along to anything. He has the 6 times chaining move with Mystic Cross, but it's non-elemental, so I don't know if you would ever bring him. I'd probably put him like an F for Dark Visions, because I just don't know where you would bring him unless you're fighting a machine. I don't think there hasn't really been that many machines in Dark Visions. It's mostly like beasts and stuff like that, aquatics and niche things where it's harder to get killers for. So there really aren't that many machines in Dark Vision, so I'd say an F in Dark Visions, just don't bother. Normal meta, I would say just B. He's a decent buffer. That's about it. And let's move on to the last one of the units, which I know everybody wants to see. Neovision Rain. The STMR is a 2-handed greatsword. 184 attack, fire damage 10%. That means all damage that is related to fire is 10%. So his limit burst, if he's fire imbued and all that good stuff, and his work through chaining, as long as he's fire imbued or has a fire, well, I guess he would has to have an imbue, because greatsword is not imbued with fire, which I mean it might be good, might be a good thing. So let's start off with the good. 100% AoE magical and physical beast killer on a cooldown. I think this is going to be something, even after he's not useful anymore, I think this is something that people just bring to trials, just to give 100% AoE buff. I think that's pretty interesting. He does have extreme Nova frames in his PS form, Brave Shift form. So I mean that's pretty good, right? So you can chain with Hayu. He can chain with his other Hayu friend, and also with King Rain. But I don't know about King Rain. I don't know about either of those. they're options for sure, but they're really lower on the scale at this point. I'm gonna say very nicely. He also has some AoE mitigations and fire resist and stab buffs, so he's not that selfish. At least in his normal form, does those kind of buffs, so it's pretty interesting. 200% TDH, 100% guts, and also beast and human killers. Human killers on his brave shift form. He also has beast killer in his brave shift form, but mostly beast in his normal form. So his chaining can be upgraded by quite a bit. Also, you definitely want to upgrade some of his abilities in his normal form, because I think it gives 15. I think upgraded fully it gives 15% fire damage. So you definitely want to go ahead and do that situation. And there's definitely a bro moment with his Timar 75% TDH. I mean, come on. Really, come on. What are we in? 2018 with Carlet on the JB side, who has 75% magical TTH. I mean, come on with that. That's obviously asking for you to pull for the STMR at this point. Or I guess pull enough to get his EX2. And his... Sorry, man, my nose is crazy tonight. Or today, sorry. This morning, it's not tonight. His base form LB gives AoE Fire Imbue. Very similar to... Not very similar to, very close to what Ignacio did back in the day, but his is not a chance, it's just a lone burst. Could be good, could be bad, depending on what you are doing. Sometimes you might not want your whole team fire imbued. That's probably not a good idea sometimes, but I mean, some other times it might be okay. He does have a niche application though, where if you're using someone who's not him, he can fire imbue himself, but also fire imbue another ally. So that's interesting, at least. You can fire imbue 2 people, so maybe like a friend that doesn't have a fire weapon, but you want to chain with them for some reason. So there's that situation. I didn't write that down, but I mean, it seems like a decent niche application where you could do that. So it's interesting enough. And I wrote down something, I just wrote down something that probably would be his rotation. I just guessed, because it's early in the morning for me, so don't yell at me too much. But his rotation might be wrong, might be right. If I'm right, cool. But his main focus is probably going to be his extreme Nova frames. That's why I wrote down turn 3, probably want to get that Lilith burst going. So there's that. He has 100% LB damage passively. He also has 100% LB buff for a few turns. So there's that. There's some flexibility with that situation. But unlike King Rain, his ground chaining is also really strong, but his also long burst chaining is also really strong. So it's kind of like an interesting situation where both sides are pretty strong, really. There's no lacking in anything in terms of DPS. So for normal meta, I would definitely say an A+, because he has so many situations where he would be good even without a dupe. You can chain with someone else, right? And for Dark Vision, it's definitely an A+, because at least for fire, if there's anything fire related, you'll definitely be bringing him along, because you can chain with Hayu and Dark Visions and also King Rain, which makes him a lot more interesting and much more applicable in Dark Visions than anything else. But with that being said, I think we're about done here. There's no CG to show off because unfortunately they did release a letter or something in the game where they can't do the Lilith, or they can't do the CG animation right now. In the future they'll be putting the CG animation in. If they do not, that is false advertising, because they literally said that they would do it. If they don't do it, I'm going to start losing a lot more faith in Elm than I already had, and that would not be good for them. So they better hold up to their promise. Even though it'll probably be an older unit, they better put the CG back in, because they said they would. But at this point I would have showed you the CG animation, but there is nothing to show, so unfortunately I can't do that. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Watch all the way through. Type in #rain. #rain will be the keyword for the end of this video. Hopefully this review helped you out. And if you do try to go for him, good luck. He's definitely worth saving for though. I think he is quite good. I just don't know what the future holds at this point. Yeah, thanks for watching guys. I think we're done here. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to like, the video if you liked it or dislike it if you dislike it, and I am gonna see you next time. Peace.